The WBO president claims that Canelo Alvarez is keen to remain their light heavyweight champion. Now, Canelo has come out in the wake of his victory over Sergey Kovalev and said it would be very difficult to drop back down to middleweight after stepping up to 175. The word on the grapevine, and again, this is just rumor at the moment, so don't take it as gospel and don't act like I'm presenting it as gospel. It's just a word on the grapevine. The word is that once Golovkin gets past his next fight, I think he's got some kind of mandatory coming up. If he gets past it, should I say, they're looking to make Canelo Golovkin 3 in 2020 at 168 pounds, super middleweight. So that is the word on the grapevine at the moment. But maybe Golovkin would say, you know what, forget about 168. I want your WBO 175 belt. Let me come up to 175. You know, that's a possibility too. But the word is that it's probably going to be at 168. Will Canelo remain at 175 and try and unify with people? Look, Sergey Kovalev was picked because he's the most well-known light heavyweight champion, the most well-established, but also the most vulnerable, or was the most vulnerable of the champions. That's why he was picked. They didn't pick a young, unbeaten guy who hasn't been stopped a couple of times, who wasn't on the brink of getting stopped in his last fight. No, they didn't pick a guy like that. They picked someone who's shown vulnerability, a lot of vulnerability over the past few years. Okay, and that's no disrespect to Canelo or anything, because jumping up 2 weight classes is still a very, very difficult thing to do when you're fighting at the elite level. So props to Canelo, hats off to him. But they picked their battle carefully in this instance. Have they gained enough confidence from the fact that Canelo stopped Kovalev to then go in there and fight a Dmitry Bivol or an Artur Beterbiev? Maybe. If you look at the names on Canelo's resume, it's star-studded. So perhaps he's going to surprise us once more and say, you know what? Bring on Bivol. Bring on Beterbiev. Maybe he'll do that. I'll be surprised though. Every fighter has their limit. When Roy Jones Jr. stepped up to heavyweight, he didn't stay at heavyweight. He came back down. Yeah? So fighters do these extraordinary things from time to time, but the great fighters tend to know when they've bitten off a little more than they can chew. And they, usually will avoid doing that. So it remains to be seen. Time will tell if Canelo is going to stay at 175 or not. Now, one thing I will say with regards to the Kovalev fight is he looks strong at 175. I know Kovalev isn't the crusher that he used to be. He doesn't impose himself on fighters the way he did back in the days. And that might have flattered Canelo a little bit. But just look at the size of Canelo next to Kovalev. Yeah, there's a height difference, but the size of the body. I mean, Canelo's neck is massive. The biceps, the chest, his back, his legs, like the thickness of his arms. He didn't look tiny next to Sergey Kovalev, people. He looked very, very powerful in the ring next to Kovalev. Just the look of him physically, he looked powerful. So maybe we're underestimating how strong he is at the weight. And how much of a size difference really was there between Canelo and Kovalev? Because Kovalev, from what I can remember, when he was on HBO and they were doing the on the night weights, I think Kovalev was weighing something like 185 to 188 pounds on fight night. And that was several years ago, so he might be weighing more on fight night now. But let's just, for the sake of argument, say he's 188 pounds on fight night, right? 187, 188. Canelo, when he was boxing at super welterweight, on the night, he would be over 170 pounds. I mean, I'm sure there was some super welterweight and middleweight fights where he was 175 pounds or more on the night. And that was several years ago when he had to make a much lighter weight. How heavy was he in the ring against Kovalev? He must have been over 180 pounds. So what was the difference in weight between them in the ring? Bearing in mind, Kovalev had a rehydration limit as well. I don't know when the rehydration limit was enforced. Was it enforced like on the morning of the fight, on the evening of the fight? I don't know. But Kovalev would have been, let's just say, I don't know, 187 pounds. What would Canelo have been? 183, 184? Wouldn't have been that much difference in weight between the two of them. So Canelo might actually be even bigger than we first suspected. Now, he's not going to be anywhere near the size of somebody like Artur Beterbiev, who is a huge light heavyweight. I mean, this is a guy who fought at heavyweight in the amateurs. But Dmitry Bivol, he might not be much different in size to Canelo, truth be told. Dmitry Bivol says he can make 168 comfortably. So, anyway, I personally think that, even though this maybe sounds counterintuitive, I personally think that Canelo would have a better chance against Beterbiev than he would against Bivol. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like Bivol's speed, his movement, etc. would give him the opportunity to cause Canelo serious problems. Beterbiev, although he's very talented and he hits hard, from a stylistic point of view, from a skill point of view, I feel like he's given up more. He's conceding more to Canelo. Canelo's hand speed is tremendous, particularly at 175. Bivol is much faster than Beterbiev, you know. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.